Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and wherever you find yourself on the spectrum. Thank you so much for watching this morning. We are driving to Lawrence to go have some fun with some people, go do some work, go do some video shooting, etc. I am excited about this. So this morning I put out a video that was very sleepy, very tired version of this very exciting plan that I have. And I'm going to talk about it again because I've got some more energy and I've had I don't know how many cups of coffee. Once I lose track of how many cups I've had, that's when I know I've got enough energy. And thank you, truck in front of me, for cutting me off. I really appreciate that. Let's pause 10 seconds for coffee identification. Oh, that's Folgers. It is not good, but I am grateful for it. It is 9 o'clock a.m. It is 15 degrees outside. And this morning I talked a little bit about this plan. So I'm going to go through it again. I'm really excited about this, and I want you to bear with me because I think this is something that's really important. It's something that I'm working on. That I've got two sections of life that I'm working on. One is helping people out with their spiritual journey, trying to help them clear the static, learn to meditate, etc., etc. A lot of like life coaching elements to it. And then the other is the biggest problem that I see with our country is an indentured middle class. We have all these people in the middle class that are completely drowning in debt. And I see that as the biggest logistical issue facing the majority of the people in this country. So that is where I am dedicating my time and my effort, because I believe that if we can take care of the middle class and get their debt paid off, then all of a sudden the lower class issues, and I say lower class, I'm talking simply economic class. I don't believe a person is lower class or higher class. It's just their economic ability is more what I'm speaking to right now. But then the folks with lower income will be able to be taken care of and helped along by folks with middle income, instead of people in middle income just drowning in debt, constantly worrying about things and stressing. Because how creative can you be? How loving can you be whenever you're constantly thinking about debt and you have to take a job that you hate because you have all this debt that you've accumulated? Because this life and this lifestyle can be really difficult. And everything in this world is pushing you towards consumerism and towards adding more and more debt to what you have. Anyway, so the central theme around everything that I'm working on is that there is a fund right in the middle of everything that we do. And I've got probably 5 or 6 different avenues that pour into the fund right now. But we're going to talk about a couple of those right now. But first of all, what is the fund? Uh-oh. I'm seeing a lot of tail lights up here. That looks like fire department. Yeah, buddy, on the highway. Oh, this is not gonna be good. Yeah, bud. There are a lot of people out here. It looks like a car is flipped. Oh, this is really not good. Oh, wow. Oh, man. Well, I'm going to pause 10 seconds for station identification. This looks really serious. There's a whole mess. I don't know if... Oh, sorry. Anyway, whole mess of... yeah, this is kind of a mess. Oh, boy, I hope they're okay. Yeah, look at all those lights. Oh, man, that was intense. When I reach into my well, it honks the horn sometimes. That was kind of an idiotic feeling moment. Geez, I don't know how much of that you saw. I just saw a car flipped and a bunch of like first responders. That's all I saw. But that is someone having a worse day than you. I hope they're okay. Anyway, I got my mind all sorts of befuddled. And there's a sheriff up here trying to get people for speeding. Anyway, whew, that was a crazy couple of minutes. So, my primary assertion is that everybody has a best life, a best idea for what their ideal life should, could, and would be if it wasn't so drowned out with the elements of life, with the machinery of life, right? And so, basically, I assert that if we can clear up people's debt especially the middle class. The middle class will be to help the lower income class folks, and then we can all move forward together. So the very central theme of this, like I was saying, is the fund. The fund is started, I've actually started giving to the fund. Basically, I take 10% of my income and I'm putting it into the fund. And the quick idea is the fund will be split up and spent in 3 different ways. A percentage of it will go towards being spent democratically. So anyone that puts money into it gets to determine with a democratic vote, what that money will be spent on. And another percentage will go towards being invested so that the fund will increase how much money it has in it. And then the third part of the fund is just to pay basic operating costs. It's just a small percentage, it's like 10% or whatever, to pay salaries, to pay lawyer fees, to keep the machinery running of the organization. But essentially, the idea is that no matter what we do, it all goes back into the fund. We pay, a living wage for everyone involved with the organization, but rather than taking profit and giving it to shareholders, getting profit and giving it to, a CEO who's making millions and millions of dollars, the idea is that all of that money is then put back into the fund. And then the money that goes in the fund is again split up 3 ways: investment, democratically spent, and then operating costs. I can tell I'm boring my son back there. He's yawning and sighing. But the kinds of things I'm talking about when I talk about spending it democratically, it can be very simply, hey, this food kitchen, like in Lawrence, like Just Food, needs money, needs food. And so, these 100 families have all dedicated $200 a month or whatever they can afford. And what is that, $20,000 a month? Is that correct? Yeah, I think so, yes. $20,000 a month. And a percentage of that we get to spend democratically. So we can just literally say, yes, let's give this money to Just Food, or let's support this endeavor, or let's support that endeavor. One of the things I really want to put the money towards is paying off middle class people's debt. Because again, that's the biggest thing. It's the reason we have to hold these jobs that we hate, and it sucks out our soul and it kills us slowly, right? And another thing that I'd really like to invest in is this idea, and this is what I talked about earlier today, replacing the companies that we spend money with, like all the things that we buy just mindlessly. When we mindlessly buy toilet paper and paper towels and all that stuff, buying that from a company that's actually got your best interest in mind, that's not trying to increase their bottom line, that's not trying to increase their profit, but they exist to help you. And the idea is, like, let's say you spend $20 on a mega pack of toilet paper, and out of that $20, after all the cost and everything is taken care of, let's say there's like $6 or $7 left over. I think a percentage of that should go to the fund, and then the percentage should go to the buyer's debt. So like right there, if there's $7, half of it goes to the fund and it's split up the way it's split up, and then the other half goes to paying down your debt. So if you're buying, let's say $1,000 worth of products that you normally would buy anyway, but you're buying it from this company that wants to help you pay off your debt, that begins to, your lifestyle starts to help you pay off your debt. And you don't have to make these super crazy drastic Dave Ramsey-like changes. Now, if you pair it with financial coaching and good financial practices, you'll see an exponential reward, obviously. But just the idea of buying products and spending money, instead of lining a CEO's pockets, instead of lining shareholders' pockets, we are keeping that money with the people down here on this level. I really, really love this concept. And then again, can you imagine if people are giving philanthropically to this organization, if money's coming in from household goods, and again, there's a half dozen other areas that will bring money into this fund, and then all of a sudden we've got tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, depending on how many people buy into this, depending on how many people say, yes, I want to make a difference, I want to make a change. Could you imagine how much money we could all raise just by changing a couple small elements of our lifestyle? And then if 50% of that money, and I'm just throwing out numbers here, I need to actually crunch all these numbers, and then we'll all decide what the percentages are. But could you imagine if we had $1 million a month revenue that we could spend democratically, like just in Lawrence, Kansas, where I live? Can you imagine the change that we could implement, instead of us arguing about where this money is going to be spent in our government, instead of arguing about, or worrying about our schools being closed because there's not enough funding, or worrying about, like the stock market crashing, and then what are we going to do for this or that. No, guys, we've got enough everything right here, right now. We're just not utilizing it correctly. We're not adjusting it and using it in the most efficient, effective way. And so communism in this country will never work. And socialism, I mean, we already have elements of socialism, but it's still going to be muted by people that feel that those sorts of elements should not be involved with the government. And whatever, I see their point, but it needs to come from somewhere. We need to be taking care of those who can't take care of themselves in some way. I came up through the Jesus tradition, through the Christian tradition, and it's all about loving your neighbor, and loving is action. So doing loving action for your neighbor, and taking care of the widows, and taking care of the orphans, and the underserved, and those with mental and physical disabilities. And I mean, we need to be doing better, and we need to be doing more. Right now we're just defaulting. We're just being a part of the system as it exists. And I'm suggesting that we make some changes to the system. And again, this is just like this much of a plan that's this big, and it's gonna take months and months and years to implement. But I'm excited about it today. I'm gonna go talk to a business partner of mine about how to get the ball rolling in some of these elements. I'm gonna be meeting with a lawyer. How do you say it? Anyway, one who practices law in a couple of weeks, which I need to reply to him. He emailed me back to confirm the dates. I need to confirm that I'm willing to pay what his fees are to get the ball rolling on all this stuff. It's expensive. My goodness, lawyers are expensive.